Hi, I am Sir Styles, and this is A State of Consciousness. State of Consciousness is a podcast about mental health in the music industry, which I call home. But the applications of the things we discuss here, mostly in this podcast, which are ways to safeguard one's mental health or improve it in case of mental distress, can help people in the industry or anywhere else if they find the information useful. Our guest for today is Olindo Caso, which I know for a very long time, and I'm very lucky and proud to call a friend. And also, I'm very lucky and proud to have witnessed his path from where he started to today. But he will tell us more about that. Hi, Olindo. Welcome.
Thank you.
How
Hello,
you doing?
Styles. I'm very lucky to have you as a friend as well. It's been a lot of years, but I actually feel at home when I speak to you, honestly, because you're such a close person to me. We've lived a lot of stuff together, which
Yeah, we
is
have.
experiences and very cool experiences as well, which have actually stayed on my heart a lot. So yeah, it's very good to be here and to talk to you about such an important matter as it's mental health in the music industry. I know
So,
a few things about it. So yeah.
so take us from where you believe is your start in the music industry to where you got now, where you are.
Yeah. So basically, my starts were creating a blog, actually posting IDs. I used to rip them from sets from different DJs because I loved the sound it had right there. I actually started ripping IDs, uploading them on SoundCloud. Like, look at this new track. It's very exciting. Let's post about it and let's hype about it because I used to love it and really have that passion inside me. So that's where I started. Then I started evolving and talking to the artists themselves as well, because their ideas when I posted them actually got some repercussion and people started talking about them, which was great. So yeah, that's when I started actually connecting into the world of the music, and there I met Chris Kreider. That's when we first met. He actually saw that I read pretty much all of his sets because it was full of ideas. Always had like 10 ideas on the set. So yeah, it was pretty much like work. I was starting at that time as well, but I actually enjoyed it doing it because it was like a relief after starting or after doing all of that stuff. It was great for me to actually have some spare time to do stuff like that and connect with people as well into a world that I started loving. Then I connected with him first time was in a summer story here in Madrid. It is a festival which is pretty much like very dance oriented with biggest names in there. And we met there the first time on backstage. Actually, he invited me, and then we started connecting more and more and more until a point we actually started working together on. I started working for him on promoting his music, on actually also going to him with shows, actually connecting with the people that were working with him. It was a slow start, but then it evolved into more and more until a point that now I'm actually managing him pretty much on all sides and helping with projects, everything. Yeah, that's where I started on the dance music industry, honestly. And it was a great start because I didn't expect it to go that big at starts. I was just doing that for fun, and then it became serious, and I liked it, of course, because it was like, wow, I actually did something that worked in a way that I never expected to work. But that kind of made me proud of myself, like, wow. That's
Uh,
interesting. It worked that way.
Okay, so it started as something fun. So
Yeah,
let's also say that you weren't get paid for it. You were doing it for yourself, correct?
yeah,
And
exactly.
also at the same time, you described it as something that was relieving you, making you feel better from your everyday life. So studying, going to university, and what you had to do.
Yeah,
Um, it then became a job. So
yeah. It
bravo. So
switched into job.
it became from relieving you from real life to becoming real life. Did at the point where it
Yeah.
become real life make you feel the same stresses or the same pressure or the same mental drain that real life causes everyone?
To be honest, there was a point that it got that way, and it was the point in which I didn't knew how to make a difference between what was my actual life and work, and that was the point in which I got very stressed about it because it was pretty much 24 hours working, 24 hours doing stuff, and I didn't have limits. I know this music industry can be like it's not like a normal work when you go to a place and then go back to home. You always are connected to it in a certain way.
Yeah.
So there was that point in which I said this is getting way too stressful, and it shouldn't be because at the end of the day it was what I liked, and there was a point I started to be hating it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that was a little bit of a disappointment because I said that's kind of what I achieved, what I wanted, but still it doesn't feel like it.
Mm.
It doesn't really feel like it. Uh, but yeah, it also was a matter of I don't know how to say this society. Society is built in a way that when you start working on something, you start losing a little bit of love for it because you're doing it for the concept of work itself. There's a problem with that concept of work because the concept of work is linked to basically the system that makes us do stuff to win money and to survive just because of it's established that way. Like art is not really linked to that in my opinion. Art is linked to basically feelings, emotions, and basically exactly feeling something. It's in my opinion, art is something separated from money and from all of these concepts we made up to basically survive in a way. But when work started getting linked to that concept, I started feeling like this is maybe not what I wanted, but I also understand it's quite a linked to what we have to do because we're kind of uh, doomed to it to say it in a way. You can't just stop working and not win anything and just basically not eat and die basically.
Yeah.
So there was a point when I started thinking about everything and how it was built, and I say, okay, we can take it in two ways. We can actually be frustrated, depressed. We can leave everything and just basically be sad our whole lives, or we could actually take it easy. We could enjoy the little things we have in life as well. Going for a walk or listening to a piece of music and work as well, but with more of a balance and just having time for myself as well and to enjoy different kind of things. Because when you're linked too much to that concept, basically your existence is linked to work, and work becomes the main reason of it. And I don't think that's right to say it in a way, because it turns you into a machine more than a human. Okay. So basically, the thought that came into my mind was you need to take it easier, you need to relax, you need to have time for yourself, to spend time with your family, with your friends, to actually, I don't know, play something, watch something, or listen to music yourself, and just discover new stuff as well out there. That's what I started taking as a philosophy to take my life into a better place. Also, exercising as well has helped me a lot. Uh, yeah, basically improving my health, not just mentally but physically as well, has helped a lot.
So you do find the connection between like improving your physical health to improving your mental health.
Yeah, definitely. When I started, I actually was a lot fatter than I am right now. Honestly, like a couple of months ago, I lost 10 kilos in like 3 months, yeah, basically by just
Wow.
walking and running sometimes when I feel more energetic. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just those simple things like going for a walk and enjoying of some fresh air, and just you can also take your music and just enjoy what you
Go with
see out there. There's people living out there as well. It's fun to see them doing different things and seeing how they interact with everything. That's kind of some sort of art as well, if you see it in a way. But yeah, basically, I think I found a lot of improvement when I started like taking care of myself physically as well, and what I ate, what I started doing as well, for my health. Basically, yes, I found a lot of correlation with that.
how long did it take you from realizing that it's not perfect for you to the day you said, this is not how I want things to be. I want things to be different. I want to enjoy them more, and I want to have a better health and a better relationship with my works. It's something I love. And was it just like slowly things that got you to a point when you were like, no, I'm going to change a little bit of this, now I'm going to change a bit of that? Or was it one event, one fact, one thought, one day that you woke up and you said, enough, I'm doing this now?
It was slowly, to be honest. It was a process of 3 years, let's say that way. I actually started like thinking about it. Then there was a point I actually started getting myself like on a schedule and actually trying to do different things as well. And then I started exercising, doing more for myself as well, having more fun with different things as well. That rather just focusing on one thing. And I know that might sound like, hey, different to what other people said. There's this concept out there that people try to say, if you work harder each and every day and harder and harder and harder, you will get to a point in which you're happier. I don't really agree with that, if I'm honest with you. You have to work, of course. You
Please
have
be
to
honest
do,
with me.
yeah. You have to work, you have to do things, but you don't have to kill yourself over something you want. You can do it slowly. There's no rush at all. We came into these lives to also enjoy the things that surround us. When you get to a point in which all you see is trying to reach that objective and only doing stuff for it, you get kind of you lose everything that's around you. That there's you have to have patience as well. You have to have like that point in which you say, I can do other stuff as well. That then when you start focusing a lot, and you only have your mind on one thing, that's, I think, where the problem starts. Because when you don't achieve it, or when you actually start getting problems, or when you actually feel exhausted, your mind goes to dark places you don't want to go. You know so, and that happened a lot with artists we've seen over the courses of the years. There's a lot of artists that have felt bad or have gone through terrible situations, or some that worse have suicided because of it.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, because at the end of the days, those were huge talents that actually did amazing and incredible material for us. And we lost them because they couldn't control that as well. That exigence of society of actually doing more and more and more. You know, it's okay if you don't do a lot. It's okay if you do things easy.
Has that pressure ever made you say, forget about this, I'm quitting this thing as a job and I'm gonna find something else and I'm gonna listen to music on my free time and feel good about it like I did when I was younger or whatever?
Yeah, of course. I'm not gonna lie about it, because of course I've said like I'm gonna quit the music industry. But I think that's not something I would like to do as well inside of me, because it's something I really love. But I still sometimes I see how it all works, how it all is structured at a more, not in the art side, but more like an industry side. And of course, so like I'm gonna leave it. Maybe at some point I'm gonna return and do something else. But I still haven't, and I think that's because I think I can actually improve it in a certain way, and I can actually do just little things for it. And at some point, I think I'm gonna find a balance when you in which you say, "Hey, I actually think this is the place I want to be." This is the place I want to actually develop because the people are more balanced, are more art focused, are more into that feeling kind of thing instead of an industry sided things. There's teams like that, of course. There's people like that. The problem is that, uh, as I said, we're a society consumed industry, sadly. But because we also have to live and we also have to pay bills and we also have to do the things that normal people do, to say it in a way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the point basically. If I'm not gonna leave it because I think I can make it a little bit better. I can actually uh, give ideas to it to improve as well. But I think I can reach into a better place and I can actually become better, with it. That's where my aim is.
This thing you described now, and when earlier when you said that sometimes the negativity of societal norms and the industry hits you, um, and you turn it around and you come back and you say, no, I'm going to keep working, I'm going to improve it, and I'm going to make it better for me, and if I can make it better for the industry. So this thing, um, if I can give an analogy, it's like a factory.
Yeah,
Okay. So, like, you put one thing in and something else, the product comes out. So, you take that negativity, you take these experiences, and you somehow process them inside you, and you take back, you take out the positive product, because otherwise,
yeah,
like we said earlier, you would have quit, you would have stopped.
exactly.
But that factory to operate and do this process, it needs a fuel,
Yeah,
and that fuel is something that keeps you, let's say, more, it keeps the scale more towards the positive. So my question is that thing something outside the industry, outside work, and in your personal life, or in like your mentality as a person, or do you see it in the music industry? Do you see it in the work you do, the positive, the potential, and that helps you say, no, I will take this bad thing and I will make it good, and I will even make it good for everyone else?
I'd say the combination of both, because there's a part of the industry in which I see people trying hard to actually change little things, because at the end of the day you can change the whole machinery from a day to another. But yeah, sometimes you see inspiring stuff and you see people, I don't know, I actually find a lot of inspiration in, for example, artists releasing independent stuff and then succeeding with music independently, like not having to depend on a big machinery. I actually find a lot of inspiration in that, because I say, hey, look, it's possible to actually get like somewhere without actually uh, having this process, which is sometimes unnecessary, to be honest with you, and which takes a lot of resources and a lot of time, and it doesn't get to anywhere sometimes. You know what I mean? It's when you see someone working with passion and actually uploading something, and people actually reacting well to it because they see the passion in it. Then you say, "Hey, there's something good in this. There's a good side of things still going on, and the future is there. I think, you know." So that's where I think the most inspiration right now in the industry, in that those names actually working themselves out of nowhere to somewhere. But you can see them, and as well that they do it with happiness, because it's people as well that have gone through this machinery and all of this stuff, and they know exactly how it works, and when you see them actually doing the stuff for themselves and actually succeeding, then you see like, hey, maybe it's not that necessary to have all of this stuff to make it work, if you know what I mean.
So in a way, you look at like this new, fresh, independent artists as yourself before you started working for the industry, where
Yeah,
you're just doing your platform.
yeah,
But when they succeed, does it also mean that they're gonna like be hit with the reality of the industry and in society, the
yeah.
way you were hit when you got into it, and you were like, whoa, not what
Yeah,
I thought. Like they're
yeah,
gonna be hit with that as well.
yeah, they might be, but there's cases that they aren't, there's people that
Okay.
that remain independent over the years, and they still have a huge amount of a fan base, a community. You know, that's something that's more admirable than anything for me, because it means that you are managing to do stuff on your own and actually are getting people to actually love you as you are, and not just because you are in a company or in a label, or
Yeah,
that's the
in a position
exciting.
of power, basically, yeah, in a
Yeah,
position of fame and light, and yeah, okay,
exactly. So
yeah.
that's what I found. That's what I find more exciting. Um, Basically that's one of the things, and the other part is of course my personal life, how I use it to actually enjoy myself out of different times. I don't know, even if it's spending time with my boyfriend or playing a game, or I don't know, watching a TV show. Those moments, they take your mind out of bad things, and they also help you refresh. Like you need to do that. I think the brain can't be stuck on one thing all the time, because it starts overthinking, and overthinking is never good, in my opinion, never good. When you start
Yeah.
overthinking things, then you get to good places but get to even worse places sometimes. It all depends on what you're thinking and the context, but sometimes, most of times, it will get to something bad that you don't want to actually get to. You know what I mean?
Does it does the stresses of professional life in the music industry bleed in your personal life? Like, does, or like when you said overthinking, does overthinking about something for work, for music,
Yeah.
then carry on, that thought carries on when you finish work, and you move on to personal life, where it is, whether it is you're alone watching something, or with, like you said, you're with your boyfriend or with your family or something like that. um does it come and consume space and time from your personal life?
um No, honestly, those thoughts are usually gone away when I do those things, because I actually knew how to separate things, which is great. When I am outside of work, or thinking about the music industry, or thinking about anything, I don't know, anything related to work itself, I usually separate those, and then I say, this is not for this time. Then I'm gonna start thinking about relaxing and doing something else, even if I have to think, I don't know, about reading a book.
How do you do that? How do you separate? And was it like, you know what, from this day I'm stopping this and I'm separating, or did take you time, and did you have to build it as a habit? Can you like explain on how you managed to like separate the two and put yourself in this place that's better for you?
Yeah, it's building a habit. It's not easy to do on one day or 2 days. You have to build the habit to actually say, I'm gonna turn off my computer or my phone, or turn the plane mode on, and I'm gonna think about something else. Your mind at first plays you dirty tricks, because it doesn't let you actually think of something else. That's something you
Yeah.
have to train yourself to actually do, which is hard, because you have to actually separate. It's like having two lives, to say it in a way. You have to separate for a second your life in the art world, or in the music world, or in whatever world you are, and then just saying, hey, I'm gonna have some time for myself. I like other things as well I can enjoy with, so I'm gonna enjoy a little bit of them. Maybe I find the most easy way to do it by watching something you like. For example, you can watch either a movie or a show you like, that you love thinking about, and then when you watch it, you see the details, and then you say, hey, I used to love this detail, I used to love that detail. um, and then you start getting your mind out of those dark thoughts, and start thinking about enjoyable things. For example, I love, one of the things I developed as well is, I love hiking and going to natural places. you know I used to love that. And when I have some time, I take my boyfriend and say, hey, let's go to somewhere here in Spain and just have fun in the nature. And that it's pretty interesting, because when you're there and when you see the beauty of it as well, you get like your mind out of those dark thoughts as well, which is great to actually have something like that to relieve yourself. You have to find like different things, even if they are little, to help you erase the bad thoughts. And then when you have to go back, you will go with a more positive mindset on it rather than just getting drowned by them, and then you start figuring out what to do, basically.
Are you the kind of person that when the dark thoughts creep in, that you want to deal with it on your own, or would you reach out to your boyfriend or a friend, or someone maybe someone you work with that you have a great relationship with, and when this hits you, they don't need to be necessarily related to work, but they creep in at some time. So when they do, do you like be like, no, I will deal with this on my own with my factory, and I'll turn them into positive, or um do you reach out to people for support?
I reach out, honestly, and
Mm.
that's because I always find relief in actually getting my thoughts out. I actually love speaking my thoughts out, if I'm honest with you, because I feel more liberated when I do, and I feel like when I talk to certain people, they actually understand, even if they haven't gone through it, or they have as well, because we live in the same world, honestly, and we got the notions of what life is and what are we actually doing and what we have to do because of what I told you, society itself. So I think everyone in deep inside understands, even if they haven't yet. At some point, they will as well. So when I actually speak with people, I actually find out that you actually see they have similar thoughts or similar processes going on, and it's good because you find a relief and say, hey, I might not be alone in this. I actually have people that can help me with it. I actually have people that can tell me a few things that help them, and I can use them for my own as well, which is great because it makes you feel it makes takes you out of that loneliness that you feel when you start going deep into those thoughts. And it's not good to go into that loneliness. I think the best way to do it is to actually speak with people you care about, and the people you care about usually have great advices, unless they are the worst people in the world, basically. Then you have to find other person, basically. Yeah.
Did you always have that, or did you figure it out at some point in your life, like depending on like asking for support from people around you?
I actually figured that out when I was a kid. I
Mm.
used to be a very quiet kid. I didn't used to speak a lot, but then there was a point when I had to, because there was a point in which stuff got hard as a kid. I was bullied when I was little, so I needed to speak to someone. I just didn't know how because I wasn't trained for it. So I went to a psychologist, and they helped me, and it depends on every person, but I actually found my way to speaking to people, basically, and that helped a lot because otherwise I would be still depressed to this day.
Sorry, the way you said it. So you've dealt with depression in the past.
Yeah, as a kid, I dealt with depression, but because of the problems of the school, I didn't fit in there. To be honest with you, I used
Yeah.
to have the best grades and all of this, but I didn't fit with the people, and they were mean kids as well. That there was this feeling that was aggressive towards me, uh, and
Oh.
I suffered a little bit from that because that you had people either insulting you or treating you badly just because of I don't know why, honestly, but they used to do it, maybe because I wasn't the strongest or the tallest. But yeah, that's where I started finding my depression. I usually, yeah, that I usually suffered from that. Then I actually also had anorexia when I was younger.
So you figured out how to deal with these when you were younger, when you were like a teenager.
Yeah, that was I think those were the hardest moments for me, if I'm honest with you.
And have the lessons from dealing with these two situations, Have the lessons helped you today? Like, have you used systems or ways that you used to deal with that back then? Have you used them today? Have they helped you in like dealing with negative situations in work or in life as an adult?
Yeah, the thing that helped me the most was learning to speak with my loved ones, because I didn't do that when I was younger, and it's something I didn't do well. That's because I didn't actually wanted to look weak, or actually try and look weak with them, so
What's really
uh, yeah. Yeah, so
Mm.
that's something I had to learn to do, to talk to people and actually express my feelings. I didn't know how to express them until there was time. I started doing it, and it was something that took years and years. And now I do it. Now when I feel sad or when I feel angry, I just tell it to people, even if I have to, I don't know, ruin their mood. I don't care. I actually want to express myself. I know you have to express yourself too. We're humans. We have to talk about our feelings, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable to talk about them sometimes. It's good to talk to them, because you will find help most of times. And even if you don't, you will get yourself freed from actually having that stuck on your chest. You have to speak it, just have to speak it out. That's one of the reasons I think art exists as well, and music, and all of the arts pretty much. you know People haven't found ways to speak about it, and then they do a song. That's good as well, because you're actually telling your feelings on a song, and you're actually expressing yourself on a song. And you're giving those feelings to other people as well, who will get you, and will also love you because of that. I think
And
that's the basic of actually improving your mental health as well. Speaking out. That's the main point, in my opinion.
okay, but like how you came to this now towards the end. Um, Now I know and you know that we make something, we write a song, we make a piece, and we put it out there, and maybe one person will love it, maybe 10 person will love it, maybe a million people will love it.
Yeah,
Um, but sometimes we may not even be aware of that. Like we might not know if there was a person who loved it or who they were, or whatever. Like sometimes it completely evades us because there's no way to actually get that information most of the times. Um, and so you said that expressing yourself and making a piece that you love and putting it out there is a good thing, but i- does it can it also become a bit of a trap if you don't see if you don't receive the love that you think you're going to receive, or maybe you're not doing it because you want to receive love, but when you do it and you see nothing, even though it's not your goal, it can affect you negatively.
yeah.
uh,
That's the thing. There's a contradiction in it, and that's because of its form as well, in an industry's form, to say it in a way.
yeah.
Then it's not human at all, and you won't get the same response if you talk, I don't know, to someone about it. And that's because, as I said, the industry is not built in a human form, but rather in a numeric form and in a stream-like form. And that's where we have to work to get to a point in which we can improve it in a certain way. Because, of course, you can do a piece and then not receive anything about it and feel bad. And that's because you don't have the means to do it, because you're limited by a word that's basically ruled by numbers, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. My question is how would you tell someone to protect themselves from that? Let's call it disappointment. But it's not exactly there because, like you said, they might be just doing it. They're expressing themselves, but sometimes the lack of reaction can have a negative reaction to the person to the creator, to the artist.
there's different ways to get to it. The first way, of course, would be actually showing that to people you love, and then
Mm.
getting a response from them. That might not be enough, but it's a start. If you don't have anyone like that, there's a lot of groups and people actually willing to help you. You just have to find them, and until you actually get to a point in which you feel comfortable with certain kind of people. Uh, I think those two are the main ways to actually get help for an artist. It's a lot of connection, human connection, if you know what I mean. You have to make a little bit of effort to actually connect with certain people, and when you find the people who actually are gonna care about you, I'm sure that's gonna improve for you, because you're gonna feel more, more like more like yourself actually receiving something from them as well, even if it's feedback, even if it's, I don't know, a line saying, "Oh, I love this," you know. Um, and the other thing would be basically just trying to even go further with your expressions. You know, we use social media to presume a lot about our lives and how big they are, but you can also use them to show your negative side. You know, there's a lot of people that find inspiration in your negative side as well, because they live through those situations as well, and they go through those things, and they also feel alone. When you start
Yeah.
using social media not just as a tool to show the good side, but the bad side as well, I think that also helps you, because you say, look, this person went through this as well. This person also is going through that. I might not be the only person in the world going through the worst thing in the world. There's people also going through them, and maybe we can help each other in a way. You know, maybe talking, maybe sharing my pieces of music, and then they sharing
Then comes the human
their
connection, the real human
experiences.
connection. Yeah.
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 So I think that's where the problem is as well. It's that social media is wrongly used right nowadays, because it's used basically only for boosting good things. And I know that sounds weird. Like, you would like to promote good things, but there's also a negative side. Like, we can't actually get separated from it, because there's a negative side of things. But what goes well with it is actually helping us to each other to actually get into a better point. And the best way to do it is share our experiences and the ways that we actually did things to improve. You know, so I think that's something that should improve over the days. You know.
No, it's very interesting from a lot of people I've talked, not just on the podcast, but like generally in life. Uh, when the conversation of social media comes up, it's usually the reaction is, and I'm it's they're not boomers and like they're too old for social media. Like it's our generation, it's even younger people who are like now, oh, it's
Yeah.
social media's fault. But you didn't say that. You said they are not always used in the right way. So if there is some if there is some there are some negatives on how social media affect people's lives, their users, let's say the ones who create and the ones who consume, is based on their own use. So if someone's consuming too much of that, or if someone's creating too much of that, then it's not a clean and clear and equal of like everything that's happening, and that's what's creating the unhealthy.
Yeah. The main point is that social media is to focus on the standards of life that are looked like in a very positive way. And when you start finding negative things in your life, you say, why is this happening to me if everyone has a perfect life? That's a lie. No one has a perfect life. And no
Boo.
one actually, yeah, exactly. No one goes through a perfect life, even if you are rich or richer, you know.
Yeah.
No one goes through a perfect life. Everyone has issues, and everyone has things that actually are hurting them at the moment. The problem is
Yeah.
that no one shows them, and I think that it should be more normalized to show them, if you know what I mean, because that would actually show a more human actual of tool rather than a robotic tool that we're seeing nowadays. And it's used in the right way sometimes. Like, I'm gonna put the most famous example. You can see Fred again. Fred again has had the triumph he had because he shows also the negative side of his life.
Yeah.
Like, he lost
Yeah.
a friend, he lost a He lost
He's
a
honest.
familiar. Yeah,
He's
and I
honest. He's
think
open. Yeah.
that's exciting to see because not everyone is willing to share their lives in that way. But when one does, it's a full act of bravery because you're showing your weak sides as well, and you're letting people see through them. And that's not something that everyone does, you know. And everyone has
Yes.
weak sides, and they're beautiful as well. The weak sides are beautiful because they show usually where the good stuff is where you had to make an effort to get out from those weak sides, you know, to actually become stronger. Those weak sides made you the person you actually wanted to be in a certain way because they made your mind clearer and they made you stronger in a certain way. So why not show them? Because they usually are the good sides because that you make people actually wonder about their lives and actually improve stuff about themselves as well that they haven't thought about sometimes. And it's something that should be more showcased, you know, because when I get into I don't know, Instagram, and I see profiles from artists, all I see is basically people showcasing their good times, their fun, which is good. You have to showcase that as well.
Yeah.
But life is not that perfect. You have issues as well, I'm sure, and I'm sure you would feel a little bit better if you share them as well. That's no, there's nothing bad with sharing uh, your weaknesses. In a way, weakness is a concept as well of society, you know. We as humans, of course, are going to have weaknesses because we're not immortal.
Yeah. Look, the issue is that a bad moment is not necessarily a weak moment or a
Yeah.
weakness, but it is perceived as such, and that's why it's not advertised like as what you're describing. Like, we're not showing a weakness. Yeah, we're not showing a sad moment or like a negative thing that we're going through because we perceive that others will perceive it as weakness, and then that's why we abstain from putting that online and exposing ourselves, like showing that vulnerability, because being vulnerable, making yourself vulnerable, is quite a difficult thing. But being okay with the vulnerability is it comes very close to what you're describing. And I can see from what you're saying that you're in very good, you are in contact with your vulnerability and the negative things. And I to be honest, I don't think you see them as weakness, at least yours or even others, people like who are
No,
honest and are
I,
opening
I
up.
don't think I never saw them as weaknesses. I saw them as
Yeah.
paths to actually get lead to a better place. That's all. Weaknesses, there are no weaknesses. They are feelings. They're beautiful as well. They are things I felt in a moment, uh, things I developed with my mind as well. They are my creations, and I'm happy with them, of course, because otherwise I wouldn't be here. You know, otherwise I wouldn't
Yeah.
be at the place I am, or at the place I want to be. And if things get better or worse or whatever, I'm gonna get through them, and I'm gonna go through. Even if it gets a little bit worse, I'm gonna get better, and I'm gonna go to a better place because that's what I want to do, and I want and what my mind wants to do as well. You know, that's the important thing. I don't want to fear a tomorrow full with worse things because I don't have to fear it. I know I'm gonna get through it. That's what I wanna do, basically. You know.
Thank you very much for coming on the
No,
podcast.
thanks to you. It's always great to speak about these matters. Honestly,
Yeah,
I love it.
I think we can keep talking for like a kind of 3 more 4 days.
Definitely, I love speaking, especially if it's about human things.
Yeah,
That's my specialty, honestly.
but we'll have a call together, and hopefully by the summer I will come see you too.
Yeah, definitely. We have to meet again shortly. It's been too long.
Thank you very much. Well, take care. Thank you for coming, and I'll talk to you real soon. Much love.
Okay, much love.